Hello guys, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my screen is visible or not?
Yes, visible.
Okay, thank you. Thanks guys, thanks for joining the session. And let's start. So we'll do the very basic understanding about the FortiGate firewall. Like we have done discussion about the dashboard. We understand how to do the basic configuration, day zero configuration of any FortiGate firewall. So in continuation of that, we're trying to understand, let's say, suppose we have to configure the different types of interfaces. So let me show you what does mean the interfaces. So let me first start the firewall and we'll see how this firewall is going to get an IP address. And then I'll just log in this firewall from my browser and we'll see that how many interface type we have. And then we have to do step by step all interface type configuration. So then we come to know if I have to create the VLANs, then how the VLAN is going to be created. If I have to create the redundant interface, then how it is going to be created. If I have to create the 40 switch, like software switch, then how it is going to happen. If I have to get a zone, then how it is going to be happen. Aggregated interface. So different type of interfaces we have in the FortiGate firewall. So we'll try to understand and we'll try to configure. So let me open this particular FortiGate firewall and let me make little bit size right bigger. So I'll just put the username. There is no password. So after putting the username, there is no password. And I have to put another new password. I'll put the admin again. And this is my FortiGate firewall. So this is the brand new FortiGate firewall. There is no any configuration at all. So I will just run the command. So system interface. And you can see I have this interface that is a port 1, which we discussed yesterday. If I have to like do the management stuff in the FortiGate firewall, we always going to use the port 1. And this time it is getting the IP address 192.168.1.160 from the DHCP. So we don't have to configure from the like a static what we have done yesterday. Why it is getting the DHCP IP? Because it's configured with the DHCP cloud. This is actual cloud networking in the backend office. And from there, they have the DHCP services enabled. And from there, they are getting IP addresses. So what I'll do that, I'll simply just type this IP address in my browser. And you'll see that I will able to log into this firewall. You guys have to log in via this PC. Means you just have to turn on this PC, and after turning on this PC, you have to put the IP address, whatever IP address you like seeing here, the same IP address you have to put in this particular PC. What I have just showed in the study sessions. If anyone having any doubt, just let me know. So I'll show you how it is going to be happen. Right. So this is the device where you can access, because you are going to access the virtually, but I'm in the LAN, so I can access directly from that my browser as well. Then again, I have to put the username, and again I have to put the password, and after that I will just do the later configuration stuff. So this is my FortiGate firewall. You can see. So let me just do a little bit resizing. And in this firewall, we discuss in very detail what is the dashboard, what is the status, what is the security, what is the network, what is the source, destination, application, policies, session, everything we have done discussion. But let's say suppose you have to start the configuration. Then how this configuration is going to happen, step by step configuration is going to be happen. For that, we have to go in the networking sections, that is a network. And first thing, let's suppose I have to configure some interface of the firewalls. Then what is the use cases and what are different type of the interfaces we have and how we can configure. So if I'm going in the firewall, you can see in this firewall, we have the different kind of the physical interfaces. So if you are going to purchase the FortiGate physical firewalls, you are going to find the different interfaces like that. Let me show you. So you can see this is the firewall. In this firewall, we have the different interfaces. These are the physical interfaces where you can connect the LAN or WAN cable, and then you can just extend the connectivity. Similar wise, in the virtual environment, if I want to use the virtual connectivity similar to the physical, you can see the lab topology also. So if I want to extend my connectivity, I want to connect my cabling and all, then I have to connect on the FortiGate firewall interface. And then after, it is going to connect to the another end devices. For that, we have this type of the interfaces available on this particular FortiGate firewall by default. That is a port 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That 7 port is available. And then we have some tunnel interface. We'll see what is the tunnel interface. And this is the, again 40 link. Like if I have the dedicated switch and like 40 switch I have, and I want to just aggregate some like links together, then it is going to be used here. But in addition of that, we have multiple types of interfaces which can be used in the FortiGate firewall. So if I go here, you can see create new. So we have the interface, we have the zone, and we have the virtual wire. So we'll discuss what is the zone later stage. We'll discuss what is the virtual wire later stage. But for timing, if I am creating the interface and if I am going the type of the interface, you can see by default it's showing the VLAN interface. But if you just go in the drop down like protocol and all, so you are going to see we have the option for the 802.3 AD, that is aggregated interface. We have the like EMAC, right? Enhanced MAC VLAN. So we'll discuss what is the enhanced MAC VLAN. We have the loopback interface. We have the redundant interface. We have the software switch. We have the SSL VPN. We have the VLAN and the Wi-Fi SSID. So two things that is not relevant for us, that is EMC VLAN, right? This EMC VLAN will discuss later as later stage what is the use case, that is a special like VLAN that is going to use in a special scenario. And then also we have the Wi-Fi SSID that is good for the Wi-Fi if scenario I'm going to use in the FortiGate, then it is going to use. SSL VPN definitely will use, and we'll see how this SSL VPN is going to be look like. And because we have to configure the VPN, and rest software switch, VLAN, aggregated, that we have to do the configuration. Okay. So let's start with the first VLAN configuration. How VLAN is going to play a vital role in the FortiGate switch. I mean, the FortiGate firewall. So basically, the VLAN is similar to the router switches. We use the inter-VLAN routing and switch. We just propagate the layer 2 VLAN, layer 3 VLANs, and then they are going to make the connectivity. Same way we have to do that. So what is the use case? Let's understand. So there is a use case. Let's suppose these are the two PCs and they have some range of the IP address. Might be, let's suppose these two PC, not these two PC. So these two PC have the two different kind of the IP addressing, means two different network, 10.10.10 and this is 20.20.20. So by default, they cannot communicate to each other because this is a layer 2 switch and they are the two different network. So how they are going to communicate? For that, they require the layer 3 device, which can do the routing. So basically what I'm going to do that, I will make sure this VLAN 10 network and this VLAN 20 network will process via this trunk link, because the trunk link is going to carry the two VLANs And on the FortiGate firewall, on the same interface, we'll create two VLANs, 10 and 20, and we'll create on this particular port 4, which is going to carry this two VLAN traffic. So based on that, it is going to allow the communication. Also at the same time, we required to create the policy. So they will allow the communication. It's a very simple lab, very small lab, but let's do that. First, I'll go in the PC. This is my virtual PC. Simply, I will just go and assign the IP address. So how the IP address is going to be assigned? I'll go in this VPC 5 and give the IP address 10.10.10.10/24. And the gateway, definitely, the gateway is going to be required if two network is going to connect together. So how gateway is going to be configured? Gateway is going to be configured on the firewall. So I will give the gateway IP address as 10.10.10.1. So this is my 10.10.10.1 and I'll click OK. So it will check the duplicate IP address and then it is going to be configured. So if I just check show IP and I'll put so IP and I'll just put enter without question. See, so this is my IP address of this VPC and this is my gateway. Similarly, I'll do for this VPC 6, which is 20 series of the IP address. So IP 2020/24 and the gateway 2020.20.1. And I'll just click show IP. This is my IP address, right? So now if you try to ping from one PC to another PC, the current reachability is not going to be happen. See, they are not able to ping. So means VPC 5 not able to ping 20 network. And if I'm the 20 network, if I try to ping 10 network, it is not going to work because they are connected with the layer 2 switch and they do not have the routing capability. So what I have to do that, I will create two VLAN on the switch. This is the VLAN 10 is going to be created and also VLAN 20 is going to be created. This port is going to stay in the VLAN 10. This port is going to stay in the VLAN 20. So they are going to act as access port. And this is my uplink port, which is connecting the FortiGate firewall. So this is going to carry both of the VLAN. So if I have to carry more than one VLAN, then port is going to belong as a trunk port. Make sense? So I have to create the VLANs first on this switch, and I'll create this port as access and this port as a trunk. And then we'll see how it is going to process the traffic as well. All right, so let me go here. Let me click on the switch. First, I'll go and change the host name. And I'll put the switch 1 and I'll create the VLAN 10 and I will create another VLAN 20. So first VLAN database I will create. So if you just run now commands do show VLAN, you are going to find VLAN 10 and 20 has been created, but there is no port has been mapped under these two VLANs. So what I have to do that, I will go on the interface. This is my first interface, gig 0/2, and on this interface, gig 0/2, I will configure switch port mode access and switch port access VLAN 10. Okay, and I'll put no shut. So one port I make in the under the VLAN 10. Now this is 0/3 port. So this port is going to be access port again, but this time VLAN 20 is going to be there. So what I'll do that, I'll go here and gig 0/3 switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 20. Okay, I'll put the no shut. Now the job has been done. If you run the command do show VLAN brief, you are going to find that VLAN 10 is the part of the port 2 and VLAN 20 is the part of the port of the 3. So this downlink port has been configured. But what about the uplink port? Means the port which is facing to the FortiGate firewall. So we have to configure this port as a trunk port. So how can I do that? So for that, we just have to go here and let me see something. Okay, let me. Okay, so let me open different browser. Hold on. Okay, so let me log in again. Okay, guys. So let me open this PCs. Okay, 5 and 6 has been opened. Let me open the switch as well. Okay, switch is also open. So what I have to do that I have to configure the uplink. Okay. So for this, I will go in the already in the config mode. I will go in the interface, gig 0 by 0. And this time I have to make this port as a trunk. So there is a command switch port trunk. And if I will not allow the encapsulation type, this version is not going to take the trunking command by default. So let me put this command. It is just going to throw the command. So see, it is asking to enable the encapsulation. So by default, new switches are going to take this command by default. They are like already capable for the encapsulation. And in this scenario, first I have to make this port like trunk port, but I will enable the encapsulation type is a .1Q. And then after I made the command like switch port mode trunk, then it is going to work. And I want to allow two VLANs. That is switch port mode, switch port trunk, allowed VLAN 10 and 20. And I will just put no shut and do right. So my job has been done at the switch level. Okay. So if I just show VLAN brief, so you can see this is my two VLANs which are part of this two port. But if I want to check the show interface trunk, so you'll find that one port that 0 by 0 is part of this port and they have two VLAN allowed 10 and 20. So now my job has been done, but still if I want to ping from one PC to another PC, this ping is not going to work because they are not capable to do the routing. See, my ping is not working. Even I go for this PC, still it is not going to work. So still IP is there, but 10 to 20, 20 to 10, there is no reachability. So now it's time to go on the firewall and we have to do something on the firewall so that they are going to do the inter-VLAN routing. So that's why we have the concept of this particular. Let me show you. We have the concept of the VLANs. So VLAN is basically is the virtual local area network, and this is going to like tag that is IEEE 802.1Q, similar to the switch where you do this tagging or router you do the tagging. And based on that, you can just going to segregate your network. Like segregation is going to happen virtually, and then the tag is going to be apply, and then based on tag, your traffic is going to be follow means from one VLAN within the VLAN range. But if you want to do the like communication between one VLAN to another VLAN, then you have to do some kind of routing stuffs as well. So how this is going to happen and how this FortiGate switch is going to support, let me do that. So let me log in this to my this browser only. Let me log into this firewall. Hold on, what was the IP address? Give me 1 minute, guys. Let me check. What was the IP address? Hmm. Okay, so let me check this IP address and then I'll log in. Show system info. Sorry. So we have the 160 IP address. So let me log in again. 160 IP address 192. So I'll just log in 160 and I'll just put the username and password. So now we have the single interface that is a port 4. And based on that, we just have to make the communication. So I will go in the network and I'll go in the interface and I'll create, this is my port 4, right? So I'll go here and create some VLANs. So let's see how it is going to be created. So this is my VLAN interface and I will just create the VLAN 10. Okay. Alias means you can just do the any kind of the naming if you want to do that. So I can just make like IT VLAN. you can just put any name IT VLAN for 10 and you can put 20 as a sales VLAN. And which interface you want to propagate this VLAN and you want to tag this. So I want to do on the port 4. So I will simply select the port 4 here and the VLAN ID. That's the most important. So you have to put the same tagging which you use in the switching. Okay, so that end to end, like IEEE tagging is going to happen, that 802.1 tag is going to be happen. All right. So I'll put this tag and I don't have to give any IP address and all because I want to make the normal connectivity. Sorry, IP is going to be required because I have to give the gateway. I was thinking of layer 2. So IP is going to be required because they need to communicate to each other. We have another scenario where I want to like make that 40 switch, then the IP is not going to be required. So this is another scenario. So here I'll give the IP address. This is going to be gateway IP address 10.10.10.1/24. And I want to enable the ping or HTTPS. I can enable that. Ping is required, HTTPS is not required. And if I want to make the DHCP server, we'll see how DHCP server is going to be happen. So I can enable, so device will get the automatic IP address, but this I'm going to do the manually. So you can see now under the port, we created one of the VLAN, that is a VLAN 10. So now I have to create another VLAN that is for the sales. So I will go again here and I'll just go in the interface and that is a VLAN 20. And this time I will put the sales VLAN, right? And here I'll just tag the same interface because they have to process the traffic and put the VLAN at like 20. I'll give the IP address here 2021/24. And I'll just enable the ping and I'll click OK. So now my both VLAN has been created. And if I try to ping from this switch, let me show you. Or if I just put the question mark, you are going to see these two VLAN has been created and 1020 IP start showing. And if I just try to ping the gateway, you can see the gateway must be reachable because we have correctly configured the switch. See, I'm start getting reply from the gateway, from the PC. And even from this PC, if I try to ping gateway, it will ping you. But even I try to ping from one PC to another PC, that is not possible. Even I configure the gateway. Let me show you. See, this is not pinging. Why it is not pinging? Because three things is always going to be required for any kind of the communication. First is like you require the routing. Second thing, policy. And third thing is NAT. So NAT is not required here, but policy and routing is going to be required. So how routing is going to be mitigate here? So because both VLAN are connected on the same network, means same interface, so they are considered as the connected route. Means if you just go and check the routing, they are going to show you these are the connected route in the FortiGate firewall. So how can I check that? You just go in the dashboard, go in the network and see there are the routes are already showing 4. And see, these are the 2 route and they're showing the route type is the connected route. So by default, routing table have the routing for the both of the network. So they will by default exchange the routing. But if I check the policy, we don't have the policy. That's why they are unable to make the communication. So my requirement is I want to ping from the VLAN IT to VLAN cells and vice versa as well. So let me first make one policy IT to cells policy. And here I'll put the interface. It is going to come from the VLAN 10 and it is going to VLAN 20. Source, I don't have any address group, but here it is created already. So I can put the address, this having the 10 network, this having a 20 network. So this address by default created once VLAN created. So I'll just put the same network or I can just put any as well. Schedule, I don't have to do that. Services, I will configure like any services I want to do that. That is going to be happen. Action allow, inspection mode flow base. I don't require NAT because these are the internal network. So I just disable the NAT as well. No NAT is going to require. And rest thing, I'll just keep as it is. I'm not going to, I just want to capture all the session, nothing else. And I'll click OK. The moment I will do that, my one-way communication is going to be happen. Means this client start talking to this client. But If I want to initiate the traffic from 20 to 10, it is not going to possible because it's a stateful firewall, and a stateful firewall doesn't allow communication when it is going to initiate by the reverse direction. Only if I am the initiator, on behalf of my request, someone is going to reply, then it is going to be processed by the firewall. But someone is going to like initiate brand new packet or traffic, that is not going to possible. So let me show you first. See, this ping is start working. So I am able to ping from 10 to 20. But if I'm going again from 20 to 10, see, this ping is not working. Why it is not working? Because we don't have the reverse policy. So how can I create the reverse policy? So you just click on it and there is a clone reverse. If I want to do that, so it is automatically going to clone this policy. Means it is going to make 10 to 20, 20 to 10. And address group also going to be reverse automatically. So see, this policy has been created, but you have to put the name as well. So here I'll put the sales to IT or HR, what we created when I put it. Let me put IT. I just forgot the name of what I created. So you can see this is a sales, so and this just created the object as well, reverse, and rest are same. But once the policy is created, but still if I try to ping, it is not going to work because this policy I created, but this is disabled policy. It is not enabled. So how can I enable it? I just click on this policy and set a status and make sure it should be enabled. So once it is enabled, it is just going to show you the black and white, and it is like if you just click it again, it is going to set us enable is grayed out, disable you want to do that, then it is going to be happen. So if now I'm going to test it, say it is start working. So let's validate something traffic. So I just put the continuous ping, extended ping from both sides. And if I'm going in the FortiGate firewall, you will see some traffic is already processing from this particular firewall. Let me just refresh. So hold on. See, already some traffic we have here. And if I'm going in the below section, log and report, forwarding traffic, you are seeing we having the traffic from 10 to 20. But 20 to 20, we don't have any traffic. Let me see why it is not showing the traffic. Let me, this is the all session. And this is also all session. Yeah, it is going to show after some time. So we can see again. So we have the clear picture. We have the traffic. See, now it is showing 20 to 10 as well. So both traffic, it is start showing and saying sales to IT and IT to sales. So this is one thing, it is proving that your firewall is processing the traffic. Okay. And if I'm going in the dashboard again, and if I'm just going to see the 40 source, you can see this is the two users, 10 to 20 and 20 to 10. They are initiating the traffic, and this is the source and this is a destination for the both of the user. You can see. And this destination is basically showing where it is sending the ICMP type of the application traffic. So this is how we can configure the VLANs on the FortiGate firewall. Any question, guys? Anyone have? Please let me know. All good?
So you created under the interface, you just created an interface for VLAN. You attached
Yes.
it with the physical interface. You
Right.
gave the source and destination, and
Right.
that's it, and allowed all the services.
Yes, right. That's it. Very easy. It's very simple. If you want to just extend multiple VLAN on the same interface, it is absolutely possible. You don't have to like do any kind of the sub interfacing and all, like we have to do in the routers and the Palo Alto firewall. Here you just have to map the VLAN and do the tagging. It will automatically like process the traffic. So it's very easy in the FortiGate firewall.
Hello.
Okay,
Yes.
so I have a question. I have a further question. For example, we have more than 2 VLANs. So how many VLANs will it be? Because nowadays we have multiple VLANs, like 10, 20 VLANs as well.
So yeah, we can just go with the, there is two range. One is the normal range, where is a 0 to we can go with the 4096 VLAN. So this
Okay.
interfaces is going to support your normal range. Extended VLAN, that is not supported by the FortiGate firewall. So we have the different way around for that. So normal VLAN we can just configure 4096.
Okay.
This is the tag. There is another way. Let me tell you. This is the another way we can just extend it. If I want to use this tagging, so this is going to give the different VLAN range as well, extended VLAN one. So if you just go here, 802.1q versus AD. So see, this is the tagging where we can go with 12-bit VLAN ID, right? 1Q. This is the VLAN. So we are doing this one, right? So this is going to support that much. But with the
4960.
network growth become the like limitation we have. So we have this extended VLAN range. So while doing the configuration, if you're going to select this one, so even you want to go more than this VLAN, it is going to support it by this standard. Okay, Son?
Yeah, but the Cisco does not have, the switch does not have AD. Switch have only ISL and trunk, 822.1q.
No, switch support the extended VLANs. Cisco supports extended VLANs.
I see, I see. And the policies, it will be very difficult to create the policies. Like for two VLANs, we have created two policies, two
Yes.
ways. So how
Yes.
how will we go around the policies? Because if we are every time we are creating so many policies,
So
this will be
yes,
a lengthy
definitely.
process.
You always going to require the bidirectional policy every time you have the multiple source, multiple subnets. So definitely you have to require. That's why the firewall is here. So firewall
Okay.
have the more than thousands policy, 5,000 policy. Even sometime we have the even more than that as well. So it's a normal practice. While creating the firewall, we have to restrict our network more precisely, even based on the IP, based on the port. So policy you always have to create. That's why the firewall engineer jobs are here. If you're not going to
Okay.
restrict, you are going to allow, then there is no need of the firewall. You just install the router and it is simply going to route the traffic.
Okay.
Okay. So it's the best practice. Always create the traffic. I mean, the policy.
Got it. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay. Any other question regarding the VLAN or we are good? Okay. So let me record it again. So now the second scenario we're going to discuss is, let me see that what is the second scenario we have. So let me open this book in this browser itself so we can see. So we are talking about the interface. Physical interface, we know that. We have done about the VLAN. Now let's suppose about the software switch. We'll discuss one by one, aggregate, redundant, and loop back. Software switch. What is software switch? So this FortiGate firewall is capable to work as a software switch as well. Because we are talking the VLAN, so let's cover the software switch as well. So what the switch is going to do that? So basically this is a layer 2 switch. So if I want to do the layer 2 switch, so these are the like similar you can consider as the hub because they are not going to process for the STP and all. Simply what is going to happen if I enable the software switch. So if these two port are part of the same software switch, and they are going to belong in the same subnet, they are going to do the communication via the software switch. If I'm not going to make this software switch, they will not going to do the communication. Let me show you first, right? How it is going to be happen. So they are just going to make the bridge of these two interface and they are going to make the soft connections and logically they are going to become the one physical or soft logical connection where they're going to process the same VLAN traffic. But we don't have to define any VLAN and all. So if I'm going on this particular PC, let me stop this one as well. So if I click on it, so say this is one PC, and if I just configure the IP address, IP 192.168.10.10/24. I'm not going to give any gateway because they are going to same broadcast domain, and I'll give this 11 IP address. 192.168. Okay, so these are two PCs. And if I just going to ping from this PC 10.11, say it is not working. Because these are connected to the FortiGate firewall, and this FortiGate firewall is never going to allow the communication unless or until you are going to do some kind of the logical connection. So because they are going to belong in the same network, so I'm just going to make logically like this two port as a one by using the software switch, right? And what is going to happen? We don't require even the policy and all, and they're simply going to communicate. It's very easy to do that. So let me do that. I'll go in the FortiGate Firewall and I'll go in the network interface. And you can see this is the port 5 and port 6. There is two ports. Nothing is there. So I simply go here and create interface and make this as the software switch. I can make software switch 1. And here I'll select the software switch. And simply you just have to make the member which is going to process the switching. So I'll select the 5 and what is the port? 5 and 6. That's all. If I have to go somewhere else, let's suppose there is some requirement, these two PC want to access the internet as well. Okay, they want to go on the internet or somewhere else. So definitely on the software switch, I need to define the IP address. Might be the gateway 192.168.10.1. So this is going to act as a gateway, and then after they will check the routing and they will check the policy and they will check the NAT and then they will access the internet. So that is the case where I have to define the IP address. But if I want to just allow my communication within the network, then it is not required. So let me show you first without IP, how it is going to look like. So I'm not going to give any IP address, and ping is also not required because there is no IP. So you're not going to ping anything on this interface. And I simply like click OK. My job has been done. Now you see, this is the software switch has been created and these are two ports has been part of the software switch. So earlier these two not able to ping each other. But if I try to again ping, see it start pinging to each other. If I try to ping from here to that, 192.168.10.10. So both way communication start happening through the firewall. Okay. And because they are in the same network, so probably you don't have to do any policy and all. Simple switching is happening through the firewall. So this is the concept of the software switch. But let's suppose this user want to go on the internet. Then how it is going to happen? Then you have to do the routing, you have to do the policy, you have to do the NAT. I'll explain how the routing is going to happen, how the policy is going to happen, how the NAT is going to happen. But let me just complete this lab for your understanding. So definitely routing is going to require the default static route. Based on that, we can go on the internet. So for that, what I have to do that? Let me do one thing first. Instead of the DSCP, I'll make it first as a manual, okay, with the same IP address. Let me do that. So why I have done? Because I want to remove this static route, which was created by the DSCP. So I just created this one of the route. I'll explain what does mean, and I'll just make the port 1 and I'll click OK. So route has been created. Now I have to create the one of the policy as well, because I have to go from LAN to WAN. So I will just create it from LAN to WAN policy. This is just simple policy, and incoming interface, I'll just select this software switch because the traffic is going to come from these two interfaces. Where they want to go? They want to go on the internet via this port 1. So I will select the port 1. Source interface, probably I will make any because we don't have any subnet, or might be the software switch address which not has been defined right now. But if I create the software switch address, it will take automatically. So let me just tag it, and once I'll update the address, it will change the address automatically here. Destination, I'll put any. Services, any. And I'll also enable the NAT. So don't worry, I'll explain what is the policy, what is a NAT later stage. But I'm just demonstrating how the software switch is even going to process the internet connectivity as well. So I'll click OK. So now I have the routing, I have the policy. Now I'm going to the software switch. So these devices have to go on the internet. So they require the gateway as well. So right now there is no gateway. So what I'm going to do that, I'm going to give the IP of the software switch on this FortiGate firewall. And based on that, they will hit to the gateway where I'll gateway configure on this particular, these two switches. So let me go on the interface and give a software switch interface. And here I'll give the IP address 192.168.10.1/24. Ping I will allow. That's all, and I click OK. So my IP even has been assigned. Now if I'm going in the policy again, And after going in the policy, I want to just recheck where correctly my address group has been changed or not. So you just click on it. See, the address has been automatically changed for this subnet. So this is the beauty of the like address group. It is going to automatically reflect. So I'll click OK. Now I'm going on the PC and I have to define the gateway as well. Earlier there was no gateway. You can see show IP. There is no gateway address. Without gateway, the internet connectivity is not possible. So I will just define the IP address 10.10/24 and give the gateway as well. Done. So now let me check. Show IP. You have this IP. Now let me go here and I'll just again run the show IP. There is no gateway. So I will give the IP and the gateway 192.168.10 dot. I'll give the 1. Done. So this both has been done. Show IP. You see this is done. So now let me ping the gateway first. And I'll make sure we have the software switch as a gateway reachability. See, I'm able to reach. Now I have to go on the internet. So internet destination could be the 8.8.8 and see it is pinging. So that means my FortiGate firewall start allowing the traffic from my LAN to WAN connections. So if you just go here, you'll find the traffic. Let me show you. See, the traffic is start processing. And if you go in the logs as well, you will find this. After some time, this log is start going to show you. It will take little bit time. But if you go in the source, you are going to get the traffic. It is coming from here and it is going to destinations as well. That is a 8.8.8. So this is how even I want to configure the my software switch IP as well. It is possible, guys. Clear, very small, clear to everyone. Please let me know. Any question? It's very small and very easy.
So you did not create need the gateway when they both were communicating with each other. You just put this the software switch and then they were able to communicate.
Yes, when the scenario was if they want to communicate to each other as a switch, then it was happen. But if they want to go in the other network, then I have to give the IP address on the software switch and this IP acting as a gateway for this PC. And then I enable the routing and security policy as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, welcome. All right, so we understand about the software switch, we understand about the VLAN. Now let's talk about the redundant interface. What is the redundant interface? Anyone know about that? What is the redundant interface? Have you guys heard about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Amol, can you just tell me what is that redundant interface?
It basically in Juniper when we have two different chassis and we can use redundant interface. Let's consider if we have ETH1/1 of chassis 1 and ETH1/1 of a chassis 2, we can form a redundancy between them. Suppose 1/1 of chassis 1 goes down, then 1/1 of chassis 2 takes a role of the 1/1 of chassis 1.
Perfect. Yes, definitely. So basically, what Amol mentioned that the same concept is going to be happen. Redundant means like there is two things always going to be confused you guys. One is the aggregated interface, one is the redundant interface. So don't be confused. Aggregated means like similar to the link aggregation. Means if I have a multiple link and I want to just aggregate those links to just increase my bandwidth capacity. So that's why aggregation is come in a picture. You can see LSCP and Cisco PAGP also two type of the protocol. One is the Cisco proprietary, one is the open standard. So in FortiGate, we are going to use the LSCP, that is the open standard, IEEE standard, and based on that, we can do the link aggregation. So that means if let's suppose, take an example, this is my link, 100 Mbps link, and this is also 100 Mbps link. And you want to aggregate together, means I want to increase the capacity 200 Mbps, then I have to do the aggregation. Why it is going to come in picture? Let's suppose you have any file and you want to transfer this file to this particular PC with the more than 100 MPS. So it is not possible you can send the file via the one link. So you anyhow you have to do the aggregation. In that scenario, you have to do the aggregation where you have to just transfer the traffic more than the 100 MPS. But in case of the redundant, what is going to be happen? This link is 100 MPS. This link is also going to be 100 MPS. In this scenario, one link is going to carry your traffic at a one time. In case of the failure, another link will start carrying your traffic without any interruptions. This is how it is going to happen in the redundant scenario. Means at a one time, link is going to be active. Now the question is, which link is going to be active at a one time? Anyone have any answer? Let's suppose I just want to make this 2 link as a redundant, or might be 3 link is. So which link is going to be active? Pritam, you have any idea? Let's suppose this is the port 4. Might be this is going to ask by the interview. So how you are going to answer that? If these are the 3 links, I want to make the redundant or 2 link, which is going to be as active. So there is a concept, right? The lower port ID. So there is a port 2, port 3, and port 4. So whatever the lower port ID I have, that is always going to act as a active, or we call as a current slave. Means this is the current slave link that is going to serve the traffic. So this is how it is going to be decide the condition in case of redundant. Now we have the another concept here, priority override. This priority override either should be enabled or should be disabled in case of the redundant. So what does means? That means let's suppose this link is the current slave, that is an active link. If this link goes down, then definitely this will become the current slab. That means this is going to become the active. But what if this link is going to again come up? Will it again become the current slab or might be the active? The answer is totally depend on the priority override command. If it is enabled, then this will become the active. If it is disabled, means this is command is disabled. That means it will never become the active. This will always remain the active. But if this will goes down, then it is going to select as active. So you understand the redundant concept?
Yep.
So you mean to say priority is having higher preference as compared to port ID?
No.
It is something like that, or how it is?
No. Some port ID is something. Let's suppose there are 2 port ID. So
Yeah.
whatever the port ID lower, that is always going to become active at the first place, right?
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
known as the current slave link. Yeah, this is the link. Now let's suppose this link goes down. So this will become the active, okay, which is
Yes,
known as the
exactly.
current slave. But what if this link again come back online? What is going to happen? Will it again become the active or not? So how it is going to be decided? So there is a one command while doing the configuration we have to do in the FortiGate via the CLI. That command even used for the HA as well. This command is the priority override. This is the one command. The status should be enabled or should be disabled. If this command status is disabled, this will never become the active. Okay? Even
Okay.
it is going to come up, but this is enabled. Then if this link is going to come up, it will automatically become again active.
Okay, I got it. It is something similar to preempt.
Yes, similar to preempt. Exactly similar to preempt. There is no preempt concept here. We use the priority override. So let's do the lab. So how can I configure this tooling as a redundant? So you just have to go in the FortiGate firewall.
But in Juniper, this concept works a bit different. It was with 2 different chassis.
See, redundant can have the different use cases, right? Let's suppose if you are going to configure the HA. So this is also going to give the redundancy for the LAN. So this is the one device, this is another device. So device level redundancy, okay?
Yeah.
If on the chassis, we have the multiple cards. So we can use the redundancy command, means redundancy, where the card level redundancy is going to happen.
Yeah.
Now we are talking about the link level redundancy. So this is a backup thing. So it could be any scenario. You can have the backup car. That means you have redundant car. You have the backup phone. That is redundant phone. In case of any failure of the primary phone, still I can use my mobile and all. Okay, Amol?
Yeah.
So how can I make this redundant link configuration? So there is two ports. Simply I have to go here in network interface. And let's suppose I want to configure this redundant. So I will put like redundant links. And here I just select redundant interface. And I have to give the interface ID, like port 2 and port 3. Let's suppose I want to give the any IP address, or might be, let's suppose which network I didn't used. 20 even used. Let me make the 13 just for testing. Okay, so I want to give the 30 network here. Okay, so 30, I'll configure .1 IP address. We'll just verify what is happening. So 30.1/24. And I'll label the ping. So the job has been done. I'll click OK. Okay. So this is the configuration I have done on this particular port.
Could you please go to interface configuration one more time?
Yes, yes. Here, yes.
Yeah, so I just didn't understand the role thing over here. Means in earlier configuration also we have selected role as an LAN.
This role you talking?
Yeah, yes.
So it's
Yes.
just like kind of descriptions why you are using this particular port. It's acting as a LAN port, WAN port, DMZ port, undefined. So this is just a nomenclature, nothing else.
Okay, so it does not have any significance
No
to
significance.
PC or
Even if you can change any WAN, DMZ, it is not going to make any sense. Acting as a your just
okay,
description.
for understanding purpose only we consider that.
Yes. So we are doing the LAN. So by default, I'm choosing as a LAN. But if I'm going to configure as a WAN or DMZ, I'll just use the DMZ and all. Okay. So LAN doesn't have anything. If I want to use the WAN, so you have some kind of the estimated bandwidth upstream, downstream, you can define that. That's the only difference. DMZ you see. DMZ don't have anything to do that. If you have some kind of the networking traffic setting, the similar stuff is there. So it's just kind of the role. If you click here, so
Okay,
setting
so
which do not apply, the current role will be the hidden.
okay, fine. So default role is LAN or how it is?
Its default is always going to be LAN, but you can change. If you're configuring the WAN, you can change to WAN.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
fine.
So I'll just cancel it. I'll leave it to the LAN because we are doing the all LAN related things. So I'll leave the LAN and we are talking the redundancy. Now I'll go on the switch because switch, both port are going to belong in the VLAN. Let me create the VLAN 30 here. So it is going to be give the more understanding. So VLAN 30. And I will make these two port under the VLAN 30 and this port also. So 0, 1 and 3. So I will configure interface range gig 0/0 to 1, comma gig 0/3. So these three port I'll configure as a VLAN 30 port as access port. So one go, I'll put the command switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 30. And I'll make no shut do write. So this has been done. And if I just show VLAN brief, you'll see 0, 1, and 3. These are the part of the VLAN 30. And if you want to see any port configuration, so just run the command shown on interface. You just done this configuration. We have done this. Now let me go on this VPC. So I will go in the VPC 8. And if I check the show IP, there's no IP. So I will configure the IP address. IP 30.30.30.30/30. Gateway is not required, but you give the gateway. If you have to go in the internet, it will just allow. what I have done. Sorry,
Yeah,
subnet
subnet
mask is
mask,
wrong.
subnet
Subnet
mask.
mask,
Yeah,
yes, subnet mask wrong. I put it. Okay. So now we are good. Let me check the show IP. So this is done. Now if I just try to ping the gateway, right? So let me do that. So it is pinging, but which link is processing this traffic? How can I figure it out? So let me put the extended ping. Now let me go in the FortiGate CLI and let me log in it. So if I want to check the configuration of the link and show, or I can just go config system interface and I just put the, sorry, not config. Let me go out, show system interface. And if I just put which port we can configured, the port was, I just put the inter. You can see here, there are the port, this software switch.
Configured port 2 and 3.
port 2
Yes,
and 3. Yeah, if you
yes,
see
yes.
last link, it was showing redundant.
Yes, that means, so see, this is which
Port 2,
one?
3.
Yeah, this one. Yeah,
Port 2
this
and
one.
3. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is redundant configuration. This is what I wanted to show you. Now let me see which link is processing the traffic. So there is a command if I want to see diagonous netlink redundant, and I have to put the name. So my name is, this is the name. You have to copy it and paste it. That's why I was searching. So you see here. So which port is showing the slave, current slave? You able to see that? So this is my current slave. Makes sense? So this is currently serving the my primary link. So this interface is just carrying my traffic. You guys understand? So in case of the failure, let me do that. So current my traffic is processing via this port 2. But if this port is going to be down, let me show you. So this is VPC8. See, it's sending the traffic. But if I'm going to down this particular port, it's down now. Now let's see. One packet drop, but still my traffic is processing because we have the backup link. But let me show what happened in the CLI. So this was the slave earlier. This link should become the slave again. So, okay, see now current port 3 is acting as a slave. Clear, guys?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yes, yes.
now we will again roll back this link. Then what is going to happen? If the command is enabled, which command? Priority override enable is enabled, then it is going to become the primary, else it will never become the primary. Likewise, the preemption is enabled not. So I have done this. And let me go in the VPC. So VPCC, again one packet down. And if I just check, now you can see again port 2 become a slave. Because the priority override is enabled. Let me
So is it by default enable or
by
you
default
have to
enable.
enable it?
By default enable. So even you want to disable it, let me tell the command config priority. Let me config priority. What was the command? There was command. I just forgot. Give me 1 minute. CLI command for priority. I just forgot over it. What was the command? I just forgot. Let me see that. FortiGate Firewall. I should use that. Set priority. there was one command. This is the HA also going to use the same command. So set priority, yeah, set prior override. So this is the command. Let me set. What was the command? Config system HA. Okay. So this is the, we just have to go in the config system HA, but this is showing for the HA.
So
Okay. So
let's try for redundant, config system redundant, something like that.
let me, I just forgot. Config system redundant. Let me see. We have this HA. Okay, LLDP interface. Let me go and port 2. No, we don't have. No worry, I'll check the command. Okay, I'll let you know. Okay, this is a very easy command. Like we can see port redundant. There is a command. This is something. Interface. Priority override. CLI command. Priority override. Okay. Some command very difficult to remember. Okay, the same thing. There is no command. So
There's a
by default,
command.
say, yeah.
There is a command under HA. It's set
There is
priority
HA,
aggregations.
there is HA, definitely config system HA, we can do that. So if I go config system HA, I know config under the HA, we have this option, right?
Set
But
priority.
yeah, set priority. There is a command. We can have to, what was that?
Minus aggregation. Priority minus aggregation. This is one word.
Minus over, let me just check. Set. Okay, there is a command. Override. You can see set override, and we have the disable or enable. So by default, let me just disable it. Okay, let me just do that one more time, and let me just check it. I believe this is going to solve our problem. So let me see. It's pinging, right? So let me enable this, suspend this. So you can see the packet has been lost. Let me again enable it, resume it. Okay, so basically it's under the HA only. Okay, see, this is not reverting the traffic. You guys understand?
Yep.
This is not getting rollback. So let me go again and let me, oh, I was also, so basically it's a system HA configure only. And let me enable it. Once I enable it, and let me see. Let me check what is the current role. Diagonous netlink redundant name watch. What was the name?
Big R. Redundant minus
Link, right?
minus links. Yes. Big L.
Let me check. Let me check one more time. So yeah, now the port 2 has become the slave. So probably we have some drop or might be not realized. So I'm just assuming this is the part of the HA only, not more than that. All right. So I'll find the other documentation and I'll make sure the concept we learned that is 100% true, but it is under the HA as per my knowledge. But if it is going to under the redundance, I'll check that also. Okay, guys. So I believe that's all for today. And in tomorrow session, we'll discuss more type like aggregation. We'll discuss about the zone and virtual wire, probably on the Monday. Okay.
Okay. So one last question. Could you
Yes.
please show me a policy?
Yeah, sure. I can show the policy. Yeah, that is on the policy.
Firewall policy.
Yes, yes. This is the policy.
Yeah. Just expand implicit. I just want to see means how we are.
Implicit, yes. Implicit is like everything denied. Everything.
So
Like in the Palo Alto, we have the intra-zone, inter-zone.
destination or
Implicit. Everything denied. Nothing is allowed. So when I just explain the policy, I'll explain these all things, right? So that's why I didn't explain till now. So let's complete the first networking, like interface level sections, networking sections. Then we'll move with the actual advanced next generation firewall. Then I'll explain one by one each and everything in very detail. NAT, policy, security. All right,
yeah.
clear?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Chalo, thank you so much. See you again in the Monday.